All right, we're back at last. Welcome to a very special edition, a Harry Mack edition of the Nearbound Podcast. Isaac, I've been texting you and everyone I know all morning about how stoked I am for this episode. I don't even know what to say from here. So I'm like, I got to kick it over to you, Isaac, before I screw this thing up.
Well, this is one of those things where you texted me links to Harry Mack stuff like a year ago, and you're like, this is the craziest thing ever. You got to check this out. And then as we started planning this year's Nearbound Summit, you texted me and you said, I have something crazy I'm going to do, but I'm not going to tell you till it's done. And then a week later, you're like, we got Harry Mack. He's coming. He's going to perform live at the summit. And we're going to do a podcast talking with him before the summit about some of the things that go into what he does. And like, look, we're not going to try to be overly cheesy and make belabored connections to the B2B software space and Harry Mack's freestyle rap, art. But there are some interesting principles at work here that I think are part of this kind of broader shift to what we call over here, Harry, the who economy. People are looking more and more to people they trust. Anytime people are participating in something rather than just being like sold to, that genuineness, that connection. And I think what you're tapping into is so in line with that. So we're really excited to have you. Welcome to the podcast.
Man, well, I appreciate it. I'm so excited to be here with you guys. I'm stoked to be at the event as well, and I think we're gonna have a lot of fun.
100%. Maybe I can kick off kind of like the first thing, Harry, that is kind of an interesting topic, and I'm curious if you've ever thought about this. If I look at some of the most popular artists out there, someone like an Ed Sheeran, right? Like, what's he on? Like collaborations volume like 6 or 7, where he has entire albums kind of dedicated to kind of co-creation and collaboration. And I'm curious, like, I don't think I've ever seen something that you've done that wasn't a collaboration. Right. Like that's, like literally your audience is involved every time. I'm kind of curious if you've ever had any thoughts or point of view on like the fact that what you do create is a co-creation, is a collaboration.
100%. I mean, freestyling in the way that I do it, which just to be clear, I like to freestyle off the top of the dome, which means I'm improvising, right? I'm making my lyrics up spur of the moment based on, usually some kind of random input. Whether that's somebody throwing me random words or random visuals and things that I can see. And so off-top freestyling really is a collaborative art form between not me and another artist necessarily, although that could happen as well, but certainly between me and my audience, right? And in so many of my videos, it's the audience member who's giving me the topic or giving me the words that I then incorporate into my freestyle. So, in a very real way, none of the rhymes that I spit in that moment would have been generated if not for their collaborative effort in sharing that inspiration with me. So, the first tour I did, I called it the energy exchange, because that's sort of how I view freestyling. It's not just a one directional thing where I'm performing to the audience, but it really is this exchange of energy where, the words that they're giving me, and not just the words, but the reactions that they're giving me as well when I start the freestyle is feeding back into, my energy and my presence. And, you can tell in the videos, I get extra excited when, whoever I'm rapping for is getting more hype and turning up with me. So it's absolutely a collaborative thing. And that's what I love the most about freestyling.
It's so interesting. I read that you had a jazz background, and I know like jazz or even comedy, there's always that energy exchange when it comes to you're performing, and then you see how the audience reacts to it, and kind of like their reaction gives you energy. What you do takes it to like such a more explicit level where they're actually telling you what they want you to do ahead of time. So you're not just responding to their response, but you're like working it in preemptively. So there's something really interesting I've noticed as I watch your videos, and I'm curious if this is deliberate or if this is just something that happens organically as you're doing this. It's not just the moment of surprise. So people give you words that they want you to work into the song. And when they hear you're flowing and then all of a sudden you drop their word, it's not just the moment when you drop the word, that surprise moment. It's almost like you do a setup where they hear something that rhymes with their word, and then they can kind of see it coming. And it's almost like you both discover the word at the same time. And so because they can see it coming, I mean, okay, it's like I have kids. If I just surprise my kids with something, that's great, but it's almost better if they have an expectation a little bit. So then there's like 2 moments. There's the, I think he's about to do it. And then, oh my gosh, he just did it moment. Yeah. Is that something that's conscious, the way that you set up your rhymes?
100%. Yeah. It's very conscious. It's a technique actually that I utilize that helps me freestyle with clarity and sort of to know where I'm going, so that the rhyme doesn't go careening off the edge of the cliff. But yeah, what you mentioned is a technique. I call it setup punchline. So for example, if the random word given to me was, let's say, hand, I'm not going to lead with hand. I'm going to lead with something that rhymes with it, right? Killing these freestyles is part of my brand. I'm known to grip the microphone all up in my hand. And like you say, it's that moment of sort of satisfaction that that everybody can sort of like feel like they're discovering that word at the same time. I like how you put that. It's really a powerful thing when that happens. And I do think it's setting it up and then landing on it that makes that structure so powerful, not just for me from a freestyle standpoint, but also for the audience. And eventually we can all kind of get on that same cadence. So I'm stringing together these setup punchline kind of couplets, and people catch on to the cadence of that, and they're able to sort of predict when the word is going to come right before it does come. And, you know, I think music and pretty much everything, I'm sure this applies to sales as well, but music is all about tension and release, you know, setting up this tension or setting up this sort of feeling of anticipation, and then hopefully delivering on something, you know, that is delightful and satisfying and gives that reward so that that tension was worth it. And I think that setup punchline technique is sort of a microcosm of that tension and release. And it's really satisfying when you hear not only the word rhyme, but you also hear the random word get incorporated right on time.
You're describing what I'm experiencing right now, actually, Harry, which is kind of hilarious. There's been plenty of tension around me and just random DMs at the middle of the night to the team around like the genius that is kind of like watching Harry Mack. And I've legitimately watched every video that you've put out probably for the last 12 months.
Thank you,
because it's almost like watching, Isaac's a big fan of Steph Curry.
Yeah.
And, you're like, man, don't make comparisons like that. But there's something about that live performance that is not just another concert. It's not just another song, right? It's more like a live experience where it's like, you had to see it. You had to have been there in order to understand what just went down. And like the first time I saw you did a concert, I was like, that's not possible. That's totally not possible to freestyle a concert. What the heck?
Yeah.
So I'm kind of curious where you saw this thing kind of start to take off as a different direction. I mentioned Ed Sheeran and collaborations. I remember one of your videos that I think popped off really big at the start was, or let's say towards the beginning of like the pandemic digital shift, was with Marcus Veree, right?
Yeah.
Some of your most popular ones are when you collab with even, let's say, I mean, it's not Ed Sheeran, but like those videos are garnering millions and millions of views. Tell me a little bit about that, collaboration that you have done, and then maybe some that you would be looking forward to.
Great question. Yeah. Well, shout out to Marcus Veree, who, if anyone is unfamiliar, he's a great pianist who creates content on YouTube and also performs on Omegle, just like me. So performs for strangers. He takes requests, and then he has this incredible repertoire of songs, but also has a great ear and can learn songs on the fly. So it was a really natural thing for him and I to come together, since we're both YouTube creators and we both create content for strangers on Omegle. And he's an incredible talent. We did one more recently with me and Marcus and Rob Landis as well, who's a violinist on YouTube. And those have been a lot of fun. I've also gotten to collaborate with Marc Rebillet, who's a fantastic improviser and wild personality, and just a really great person. So I've been blessed to be able to link up with those people. And I love the fact that being an improviser allows me to get in rooms with all kinds of different musicians without having a plan. And that's, to me, one of the most beautiful things about being an improviser is you don't have to stress and worry and, what are we going to do? I'm going to have to learn all this material. We're going to have to send things back and forth for months. There's none of that. My favorite collaborations are those ones that we mentioned, where I just show up, no plan, and we just start creating together and we feel it out together. And I think that makes for a really authentic performance. So, you ask about who I'd like to collaborate with in the future. I mean, I think for me, it's so open-ended. I like getting outside of my comfort zone and collaborating within hip hop, of course, but also collaborating outside of hip hop and crossing over into other genres to see how what I do might apply there. But I would love to collaborate with some of the great jazz artists who are killing it right now in the sort of like jazz hip hop crossover space. People like Robert Glasper and, people like that who are in that space, sort of blending jazz and hip hop together. I'd love to get down with them. Thundercat, amazing bassist. Lewis Cole, who's a really great drummer. Right. And these are people who are taking this sort of spirit of fearless jazz improvisation, but bringing it into new territory and bringing it into the modern era in a cool way. So I'd love to link up with those people.
I mean, the Nearbound Summit collab is obviously the one that everybody's been waiting for, you know?
Yes. Forgive me for not mentioning that. That's the one I'm very excited about as well in the near future here, of course.
So speaking of the tech scene, this is hilarious, Jared. By the way, when you were talking about you just like show up, you don't have to plan ahead of time. You show up. That's how Jared approaches every meeting and every podcast. He's the business version.
I love that.
We were talking with the CMO of a company called Zapier, which is a very, very big technology company. And we literally were telling him you were going to come to the summit. And he's like, I just went and saw him in Dublin. That's crazy. I'm a huge fan. So you've got fans in the software world, Harry. They're all over.
That's amazing.
But no, so I looked up actually Harry Mack Dublin, and I just saw before we came on here a video of you like on the street doing one of your performances for these three ladies there. And it struck me because I've seen a lot of your other ones, and suddenly this just clicked that. And again, I'm going to ask you if this was like a deliberate thing. Did you have like a light bulb moment where you realize this? Because taking words people give you and incorporating them into your song live, obviously that's like, wow, this is real. This is genuine. This isn't pre-produced. But you could always kind of have that like, well, maybe he's just played around with this word before. Maybe it's like, it's somewhat personalized, but it's not fully personalized. You could have that doubt. And I notice you always do something extra. You go a level deeper. So you'll give people the word that they asked for, but you'll always throw in something specific about them, like the shirt that they're wearing or like a picture hanging on the wall. And there's like this extra level that's like, okay, now I know for sure this couldn't be faked. This couldn't be pre-scripted, because there's like multiple levels of proof that what you're doing is authentic. And I'm curious if that was like something that you do deliberately as well.
Definitely. Yeah. I mean, with the whole off-top freestyling thing, it can be tricky to have it like convert well on camera, right? For the reasons you mentioned, because people are always going to say, oh, it's staged, or, oh, he faked it. You know, these people are actors, whatever, which on the one hand is like the highest compliment that I could receive as a freestyler, right? Is that hopefully it's at a level where you think maybe I did pre-plan it. That's what I'm aiming for. So it's not the worst thing when you get those comments. But yeah, one of the fun things about an off-top freestyle is that it inherently sort of proves that it's improvised if it's done well at a high level, because like you say, I'll tie in things. Ideally, I'm tying in things that are happening in real time and wouldn't be able to be pre-planned. Like if a weird type of bird flies by, that's great. I can grab something about the bird and everyone sees it happen live and sees it get incorporated live. And, you know, that's really exciting and really fun. And I will say, you know, there is this element of, after I've rapped out in public so many times, it's like, how many rhymes can I do about Adidas sneakers? You know, how many rhymes can I come up with about Nike? So there are, like, if you listen to all my freestyles from the beginning, you will hear repeat phrases or concepts, you know, like, oh, okay, he said he earned stripes like Adidas on all these separate occasions, right? But every time that it comes back, it's incorporated in a new way and in a slightly different context, and the rhythm is different and the tonality is different. So I think about freestyling as a language, and I'm trying to get to a point where it really is a complete language. So to your point about, you know, wondering, well, maybe he's freestyled that word before. At this point, often I have, you know, it's rare when we get a word that I'm like, I've really never even considered freestyling about it, you know, unless it's some kind of obscure medical term or something that I've never heard of before. So it does happen. But in many ways, I am sort of connecting these pieces of language that have drifted through my consciousness previously, or maybe even ended up in a freestyle previously. But, you know, to me, an improvised freestyle doesn't mean that it's completely novel, completely new, completely reinventing the wheel every time. It's just a conversation. So like when we show up to this podcast, you're not, you know, Jared, you're not trying to come up with a brand new way of saying, hey, Harry, thanks so much for being here on the podcast. We're excited to talk to you, right? You're just saying that, which that has been said so many times before and will be said so many times in the future. But the thing that makes it live is the fact that we haven't planned this conversation out, right? And we're really improvising back and forth. So even though we're using words and phrases in similar ways, you know, we're utilizing the English language. That's how I think about freestyling.
Man, so a couple like just lessons that I feel like so I'm in the midst of putting the finishing touches on with Isaac on Nearbound the book right now. And like, there's so many like cool things that you're saying right now that I feel like are first principle oriented, like that kind of like ability to be inspirational and like come to the table with something new each time. And like, you're not having to pre-plan everything. I think so many people get stuck in, you know, one of my favorite quotes by Emerson is, a book both opens and closes the mind. What does that mean? It's like, hey, I'm stuck in doing things the same way. Like, I know this is the only thing I can do. You see something different, you can't really improvise. And I mean, I even see you playing jazz when you're freestyling. It's like, that is part of the art, and being able to be nimble like that, such a great principle. And I think the way that you just broke that down for us, Harry,
as like a marketer and someone who's thinking about sales, I got so excited thinking about that. It's like theme and variation. You don't reinvent everything, but you put it in a context, right? It's like the context and the connection to the person. That's where the freshness comes. Not necessarily that every word is fresh, but the way that it's woven in the context.
100%.
And that's how you could be a better partner to someone, a better content creator, someone to create with, is like, oh, I know that they're going to bring some of that special language or that specialness to me and what I'm doing. And I think there's just such an incredible universal principle there. All right. So now we're going to transition. We're going to try to pull off a variation on, I guess, like an Omegle bars or something. So for those of you who aren't following Harry every week like me, you got Gorilla bars that come out, almost every week. Omegle bars. You got Wordplay Wednesday. You got a bunch of stuff coming out on the YouTube.
Yes.
Omegle bars is obviously one of the most popular ones that you've blown up with.
Yeah.
We're going to try to do a version of that around us today, right? So
I love it.
Are we going to do the words live just like you normally do?
Let's do it, man. Absolutely. Yeah. Throw me some words. I got a beat here from your team. I like this beat, by the way. Did somebody from Nearbound make this?
Yeah. So Alex and me, shout out. We produced our own song last year for the summit. So for this year, I was like, we came up with a beat, and I got some of your favorite Omegle bar clips and kind of styles that I thought. Yeah. So we produced that one just for this moment. So
dope. I love it, man. Well, thanks for sending that over. And yeah, throw me some words, however many you want. Normally I ask for 3 words, but if you want, you guys could throw 2 each or whatever you have in mind.
All right, I'll go first. We'll do Nearbound.
Yes.
We got to do Nearbound.
Yep.
Isaac, you want to throw the second one? I got some in Canvas if you need inspiration.
Yeah, I'm blanking, dude, because I thought you already had 3 of them. Go ahead and drop.
I do. I have 5, actually. So of course I have 5.
Yeah, go ahead. Drop what you have, and I'll tell you if there's anything that I think of that's missing.
Okay. We got Nearbound.
Yep.
We got Partnership.
Yep.
And I think we got to go with Co-Creation.
Co-Creation.
Third.
Yep.
Right. So those would be 3, and we could roll with 3.
Yeah. Beautiful. I'll throw in a bonus one then as an optional.
Yeah. Okay.
It's a phrase, though. Do you do phrases?
Sure, man. Yeah, the rules are loose.
Okay. Trust is the new data.
Trust is the new data. I like that. All right, so we got Nearbound, of course. We got Partnership. Co-creation is what you said, right?
Yeah.
Co-creation, and then last but not least, trust is the new data. We're going to see if we can do this justice. Is that all? Should we drop this beat?
Let's do it.
Let's get it, man. Appreciate you guys. Come on. Yeah. 1, 2, 1, 2. Yeah. Come on. Yeah. Check it out now. Harry Mack, Nearbound. Yeah. Listen. Coming off the top and I'm making it clear now. Draw my fans close, I feel like they nearbound. Y'all know my bond tougher than leather. Nearbound, cause we out here bringing people together. Spitting freestyles in every direction. With the audience, we be making connections. I kill it off the top, no exaggeration. Every flow that I do, a collaboration. Turn it up loud in your ear, you hear them. Dropping collabs like my man Ed Sheeran. Yeah, I might hit you all with volume 10. Every time I rhyme, it's off the top without no pen. I got the freestyles people are loving. I got tech fans at my shows in Dublin. Yeah, y'all know we international. When I rhyme, it's serious, never casual. I have to blow your mind, cracking your spine. H-Mac kicking lines that are fully divine. Every time I spit a lyric, it be hard as cement. I can't wait to get down all up at the event. I'ma do what I feel when I'm coming off the top of this. Mac really shining until the apocalypse. Nearbound and Harry Mack coming together for the realness. And we gon' make the people feel this. Ain't nobody going hard as this. Me and the instrumental form a partnership. When it come to bars, can't no one go harder. Me and my fans, y'all, we the partners. I'm about to spit it out, y'all. I can't do these freestyles without y'all. You know that it's absurd, so fast that your vision blurred. And I want to thank both of y'all for throwing me words. Shout to Jarek and Isaac, the company's the flyest. When it comes to rhymes, kid, they know I'm the wisest. Getting the livest when coming off the tip of this. Rhyme skills that I deliver are so ridiculous. We gon' make it happen more than one time. Isaac was asking about the setup punchline. Y'all know I get live on the mic. I bring the satisfaction, that's the surprise and delight. Y'all know they gon' mention me as a beast. Music is all about the tension and release. Building up the tension, I be cold freezing. Into the cypher session, I'm about to ease in. I know I can't even front. Jared watched every vid for the last 12 months. Much love, he be holding down the court. I gotta thank you just for giving that support. And y'all know they never losing my raps. Shouts out to y'all for producing this track. We got the theme song based on my Omegle beats. Now I'm in the Google chat and I'm bringing heat. It's an incredible feat that I pull off. When they becoming the lyrics right up in the middle, they know I'm the flow boss. Doing the better, keeping it clever, getting the chatter under the paper. When they becoming the rhyming, I be pulling off the greatest caper. Yeah, I put it down with my flow creations. Working with y'all cause it's a co-creation. Yeah, I'm out here boosting your health, boosting my wealth. This is something I can't do by myself. Shouts out to my co-creators and everyone who recognize the flow is major. Yeah, I'm doing this collaboratively. H Mack, man, y'all know that I'm the master of the free. I'ma put it down for y'all with the facts. Getting busy every time I'm on these tracks. I'm all about the love, so I got no haters. They told me that trust is the new data. Well, I'm about to build trust with my audience. Started rhyming at 12 and I've been godly since. Yeah, and you know I'm here to bust raps. Mac about to kill the whole beat. You can trust that. What?
Oh,
Holy cow.
oh my.
Whoa.
That unbelievable. And Kieran Flanagan over there at Zapier got a shout out and everything. That's amazing.
Wow. Had to, man. Had to.
That was I didn't think I'd be at the end of an Omegle Bars type video, like live right now, where people are like, I'm speechless.
Yes.
Holy cow. We even had Isaac over there just giddy too. I mean, that was both of us.
Absolutely amazing. Harry, I
appreciate it.
My favorite thing about what you do and how you do it, it's like you make other people famous and that's what makes you famous. Like you give the people who you are rapping with, your audience members, you make them feel like they are the star. And you're always like so grateful and thankful and bringing them in. And there's just something different about that. It's not like, give me the spotlight. It's like you're coming to shine the spotlight on them. And it's an amazing experience to do it live. So thank you.
Appreciate that, man. No, thank you for that. And that is important to me. You know, I'm really grateful to be able to do what I love. And I wouldn't be able to do it without, without people like you and the people that I interact with when I'm on Omegle and, all of the guests and people that have collaborated with me and allowed me to engage in this energy exchange that I enjoy so much. So appreciate you guys.
Incredible. Harry Mack, everyone, on this very special edition. We will see you all next week and at the summit. Isaac, nearboundsummit.com. We got Harry. We got an entire lineup. It's going to be a blast. And we will see you all next time.